I'm Debra Meiburg and I'm with James Robson of Ross Hill Wines from Australia. Now you're from Orange, is it?
Yeah,
so tell me a bit about the region.
So Orange is a very interesting region in Australia. It's 3.5 hours from Sydney. It's northwest of Sydney, so it should be quite hot. It's actually very cold. So it has elevation.
Elevation must be.
Yeah,
okay.
so we have 2 vineyards. We have one at 750 metres above sea level and one at 1,050 metres above sea level.
Is that one of the highest vineyards in Australia?
Yeah, so those ones over 1,000 are the highest vineyards in Australia. So it gives us the ability from a grape growing region to grow great aromatics at 1,000 metres and great Cabernet and Shiraz at 750 metres.
Tell me about the altitude, because there are other regions that really rely on the altitude, like Mendoza in Argentina. If you speak to Winemaker, that's what they talk about. And how do you feel the altitude impacts the character of the wine?
Okay, so there's a couple of things. One is that the soils are quite different too. The vineyard at 750 metres above sea level is very old basalt, 400 million years old. Up on the 1,000 metres is basalt as well, but it's only about 90 million years old. What it brings to the wines is really good natural acidity, okay? And then the 750 vineyard is a northeast facing vineyard, so it's quite warm for orange.
Yeah.
Whereas the one is a northerly facing vineyard, and you couldn't grow Cabernet at 1,050 metres. It would be green, horrible, but at 750 metres you make great Cabernet. Same with Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Gris. At 750 metres, yeah, not so good. Do you know what I mean?
And let me ask you about the wild yeast ferments then.
Yeah.
What are some of the issues when you rely on the wild yeast? Because you don't have a strong yeast culture in the area, right? So these are
so when we first started,
new arrivals.
Yeah, so when we first started in the winery, probably about 50% of the wines were fermented wild yeast, and then we were using some cultured yeast to get them through. Now, 6 years later, everything's wild yeast ferment. The winery has built up enough. Phil is really recognised in Australia as one of the best wild yeast ferment wineries. Last year, he was nominated in the Gourmet Traveller Winemaker of the Year. So look, yeah, it's a really good business. It's a really good region. It's becoming really well known and very popular in Australia, in particular Sydney.
A question back to Orange for me. So, what do you think characterises the region? How, if someone were trying to understand, studying for exams, and trying to identify wines from Orange, what should they look for?
I think in what they're looking for is that continental, cool climate style of wine. So because we're Australian, we call our Shiraz, but really as a style it's Syrah. Okay. So you're not getting those big bombastic. Our white wines are at about 12 to 12.5% alcohol. The reds are 13.5 to 14%. You don't get any jammy. There's no jammy characteristics to the reds. They're quite spicy. We do a very good straight Cab Franc, and I love Cab Franc. I think that probably the main characteristics is the natural acidity, okay, which I think is very. And if they're made right wines from Orange, balance. Okay. And I think balance is very important in wine. It's a combination, especially with red wine and Chardonnay, of fruit and oak. And if you get that right, Orange really lends itself well to French oak, small French oak. So, I think they're the main characteristics of the wine itself. Australia is very lucky because it has all these really different wine regions from everywhere. Especially with Chardonnay and Shiraz, we make good of those varieties right across the country. And Orange sits into that high altitude, natural acidity, cool climate, really interesting wines. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, that's great. So I look forward to trying some today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll come up and try some.
I will.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Great.
Thank you.